How's it going?
Well, life's been pretty fucked, but
Stressful.
yeah, stressful. It's the first time in a long time that I felt like this pressure where it's hard to breathe.
Right? Yeah.
When I sold my jacuzzi that I love,
Of course.
cost me $6,000, sold for $500.
Jeez. Right?
Gonna stop. Even though I have a medical marijuana thing, it costs like $800, I think, every 6 months, or for me and my wife.
Okay.
Or a year, I'm not totally sure, but anyways, it's a shit ton of money. And then, of course, in the pot costs a shit ton of money.
Right.
So I'm just going to be like poor people and have to choose food over drugs. So
I guess
it makes me feel better. And this is the time I would need it the most.
Right. Of course.
Everything is going the shittiest.
Yeah, because you need the stress release. Yeah.
Right. I need the stress release, and yet more stress than even I'm used to normally.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's made it hard to focus and think. And yeah, and then also I got a root canal and a tooth pulled, so I'm also been like not feeling real great. But
for sure,
I wanted to really get to this. I'm happy to finally address lightning deities. The reason is because I don't know about you, but I have personally been told and heard many times, at least off the top of my head, 5 or 6 times, but I know it's actually more than that. And it's been through a long period of time too, like since I've been on Facebook and internet and stuff.
Right.
Like, people tell me, like, I'll say really complex stuff, blah, 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 and they'll go, well, actually, I think that religions or gods started because of fear of lightning.
Right.
Yeah. All the research I've done, fuck me, right?
Yeah. Your 2-second Google search that revealed like misinformation is 100% more accurate.
Because they don't really know, Corey. They'll go, well, the head of the god is Zeus, and Zeus has lightning. There you go. Gods come from lightning, which is actually fallacy, because if they just think, I know this is really hard for people. When you have an idea, here's a thought. Don't just tell people. Wait, I know it's crazy.
What?
Wait, go look first. Just saying. Like Corey, if you go to right now, let's just do it for the hell of it. Because just act like them, right? They think, lightning is it. Without learning all Damien's information, just go with what they think. They think because they know Zeus. Go to Zeus. What the fuck does it say about Zeus?
Zeus on Wiki, I guess, right?
Is he the first and oldest god, Corey? The answer is no, but
the answer is no.
The answer is fucking no. But I want to show you how, if you had any ethics of your belief, or you had any skepticism of your claims, or any rationalism that you have to build claims off of evidence like me, you would go look, I don't know, just look up Zeus.
Right. Yeah. And
does it match what you believe?
Right. And if Zeus is not, in fact, the oldest god.
Right, go look. Go to the Wikipedia. So we're not trying to hide nothing. So everyone can look with us, right? Wikipedia says there's a chief deity. And Corey, if it says chief, what it really means, because I know we're going to talk about it more, means Lord.
Right.
Or it means king. Now, Corey, was there always lords and kings throughout history? You've done a little bit of history now with me. Do you think that that's how Damien sees it? There's always been kings and lords?
No, there have not.
Fuck no, there have not. It is not part of human nature to have hierarchy. And that's like an extreme form of it, hierarchy. So we've already talked about this many times. But for those who don't know, just referring that. So then it says he's a head of the Greek pantheon, right? Okay, great. So he's a supreme deity. But supreme deities, once again, are not the first deities.
Right.
Because they also kind of relate to the same concept of king. So anyways, it says he is the sky and thunder god, right? And anyways, it says he rules as king of the gods.
Right. But it also says he's the child of Cronus and Rhea. So even he is not.
Oh, he's not the first?
The first.
Damn it. And then what does it say? Actually, he wasn't even in power. He overthrew other people to become king of the gods.
Yeah, and was the youngest of his siblings even. Like, so his parents had multiple kid gods, and he's the youngest of the group.
Right. Exactly.
So yeah.
So well, so yeah.
Even in the mythology, he's not the first and oldest, most powerful god of
Right.
all.
Now
Right.
let's go down to I know it's where it says name, the second paragraph. This is important for people that think that Zeus is the first.
Ah, right.
So Zeus is the Greek, right?
Yeah, it's the Greek continuation of Deities, the name of the
what? So we don't even have to keep going. Wait a minute. We're already wrong if we think he's the king of the gods. Yeah. So click on Deities really quick, and what does it say? Who's Deities?
Deities, also Dies Fater or Father Daylight, is the reconstructed name of the daylight sky god in Proto-Indo-European mythology.
Right. Now we know then that that's not a lightning deity.
That's not lightning.
A fucking sun deity, right?
That's right. Yeah, daylight sky god.
As you know, hold on, people. That's not like, aha, then the first god must be the sun. And I'm like, no, that's not accurate either.
Right. It's just that this god happened to be a daylight sky god.
We can agree. This god is, I believe, is probably 7,000 years old at least.
Okay.
But certainly we know for sure in Proto-Indo-European, they can trace it 6,000 years ago to Ukraine. Like, well, actually one spot of Ukraine. It's kind of like southern eastern Ukraine.
Okay.
But so right? So once again, I don't know, crazy. Facts should lead your beliefs.
Yeah.
Not your beliefs leading what you think are facts. So I'm just saying, no, please, nobody ever again say lightning is responsible for religion or gods.
Right.
It just isn't.
It's just not.
And we're going to go way more about why. But that's just off the top of the fact. And also, as you already know, to animus, because the fear of lightning, right? So is the claim, right? Because they also act like they know religion. Because they did one wiki search of atheism and go, okay, I know religion now.
Yeah.
They probably didn't do any searches, truly. They just sound like they're professing their own belief. And then, which is so weird to me, too, people that say they're either rationalist or skeptic. How are you saying this with confidence, not knowing fuck all?
Yeah. Because somebody they believe said it, right? So,
wow, people.
Yeah.
I thought, see, that's a problem, too, is when someone says there's something, I kind of take them as being honest.
Right,
and then I hear them talk or their ideas, and I'm like, you're a liar. Must be.
So you don't actually think the things you think. You say you think.
So you don't believe in skepticism. I mean, I'm not a skeptic. I'm a rationalist, which means different. Skeptic, which is not a bad position, especially if you don't have all the information Damien has. Skeptic is the right position. That when you don't have any information, you don't go, well, then it must be true. You go, I don't know. And then you try to judge it off of things you do know, which I've been
which is like, that's right. That's exactly right. Like you judge it based on the things you do know. So if it fits your worldview or what have you, then you go, okay, well, it fits the evidence that I have. So, or it doesn't fit the evidence.
Right. If I told you unicorns are true, are horses true? Yes. Horses in the history of their evolution, right? Because we know science.
Right.
So in the history of horse evolution, did they ever have horns? And the answer is no.
No, I don't think so. Not that I'm aware of.
I don't think so. I know for sure. I look. No.
Right.
They never had a horn.
And they especially never had magical powers.
Well, true. But you know what I'm saying? It already is gone about the horn. So that's
right.
That's bullshit.
Yeah. So you can take what you know about the world and be like, okay, unicorns is a myth, right?
There we go. See, and that's how Damien as a rationalist thinks. I look at the evidence and how does the evidence express itself?
Right.
And then the rational, I know it's crazy, rational speculations that come from that.
Yeah.
Like, jump in logic, that's good. A jump in fucking fantasy faith is not good.
Right.
And like I said, the problem is some atheists are using faith when they say, well, Damien, I think, well, why do you think that? See what I'm saying? What's the justification? I just, as a rationalist, it just blows my mind. How do you talk without justification?
Well, when I was a kid, lightning scared me, so
yeah. But the shit, that's not how it works.
But
especially if you just care to say your own bullshit, whatever. But if you actually are being serious and you think you believe in facts or evidence,
right,
or skepticism or rationalism, I don't know how you don't just do a simple look like we just did with Zeus, and you realize, ooh, that don't sound right. But like I said, also, he was a lesser god that took the older gods down and then ruled in their place. If you read Old Scroll, which we're not going to do.
No.
But my point is, though, there's no way that he was the main god.
Right.
He stole that position later. He killed other gods. Oh, yeah. So that would make him not first.
Right. It's also... It's a lot of pop culture influences too, right? Because like
Thor,
movies, Thor, movies, comic books, whatever. Like, well, Zeus is a big god who like ruled over the pantheon or whatever. So he must have been the oldest, most powerful, amazing god.
Oh no, all gods must have come from something,
right? Yeah.
Which is like, okay, so go research more, because that's
and it is like you said too, like a lot of us, we don't have a lot of like background beyond like ancient Greek or what have you.
Well, true,
right? So,
and it's not even your fault. Society doesn't teach you.
Right.
Just like Trump trying to remove parts of history that doesn't favor his views. And that's the same thing in general, I feel, is presented. They present, and I think I know why, but in a Christian society, they want you to think all non-Christian beliefs are fantasies. So they love them some Greek. Yeah. And the biggest reason is because nobody believes it.
Right. Yeah. Ancient Greek mythology is so clearly fantastical that it's like...
Right. You get what I'm trying to say is, though, so to them, promoting that, because then it says, well, if Christianity is true, and ha, 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 religion's fake. Well, actually, all of it is fake, and you're even younger than Thor, so whatever.
Before I was an atheist, I took a religious studies class in university, and my question to my professor at the time was like, well, how do we know it's not true? Like, they believed it was true, and we're just saying that our religions are true and theirs are false. Like, so how? Like, you got to look at it from their perspective. For them, it was 100% true. So how
to some extent, because actually Greek is the first place where there was atheists.
Right. Like
even Socrates was killed for corrupting the youth. And what was he corrupting? Is he was teaching them not to believe the state gods.
Right. Yeah.
Which is, once again, an attack on the state. And so the state and the gods is a big deal. That's why when people say, "Oh, Damien, I don't have time for your, religion. I'm doing political." I'm like, so am I.
Right. Yeah.
So on that note, let's go to the blog. Make sure you update it, because I added some stuff. You know how I am.
Yep. I refreshed. We are
because unlike other people that feel like that saying one thing is good enough, I really want you, like I said before, I want you to understand what I'm saying, not believe me.
Right.
Yeah. So anyways, this is the first picture you see is a whole bunch of lightning deities.
Right. Okay.
And so Perkanos, that is like the main one. Anything you see, God, you see with a P, especially P-E-R or P-E-R-K, which you see Peron and Perkanos.
Right.
Yeah.
And
they are, they're like the same exact thing. And then Baal, Had, and Adad are kind of also like a thing. And also Yahweh, not Jesus, excuse me. Yahweh and Baal are pretty close together.
Ooh, you're gonna make the Christians mad with that one.
Of course I will. Speaking of making
Baal and Yahweh are the same.
Yeah, well, because if you look at what Yahweh attacks like a sea demon or whatever, in the sense, fights a monster, and so does Baal. Right. El really doesn't do that. It's his son that does it. And also, as we already know in Deuteronomy, it does mention that Yahweh is a son of El. And I told you, El then dies and Yahweh takes power. And so I think when you have the Holy Trinity with the Jesus new son, you have the grandfather spirit who died, then you have Yahweh, the father, and then you have Jesus, the son. So you have the Trinity. And I think the Christians are like looking right at the name of another god and going, "Whoa, don't say nothing."
Yeah, of
Yeah, because
course.
it would be better to believe there was only one God. Because
Right.
fantasy.
Yeah.
But so
Silliness.
speaking of Yahweh, also Yahweh, as we already talked before, is a volcano god.
Right.
And so I sent you, and also people don't get how he can be a volcano god and yet somehow control of storms. Storm
Oh,
god
okay.
like Baal. And so that's why I sent you 3 pictures. Look at the first one. Wow,
Right.
it's all lightning coming on. Looks like right out of the hole in the thing is itself.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Look,
That
these
is
are super cool pictures, actually.
Thank you. My point was to get people to grasp what I'm saying. You know, I like you to understand, not just believe me.
Yeah.
So volcanic lightning happens at the beginning of the volcanic eruption. That's what that picture is.
Right.
I'm trying to show you that 3 different kinds of lightning kind of happen in relation to volcanoes.
Okay.
The reason said so that you really get that volcanoes look like they're in control of storms.
Yeah.
And fire. So you go to the second picture. This is a lightning bolt, kind of like it looks like coming out of a cloud from the volcano itself, and then going both back into the volcano,
right,
and then up into the sky. It's like, so you know. Anyways, just to give you an idea. So and then there's and of course that's volcanic lightning arise. Go ahead and read what it says.
Yeah, it says volcanic lightning arises from colliding and fragmenting particles of volcanic ash and sometimes ice, which generates static electricity within the volcanic plume, leading to the name dirty thunderstorm. It makes perfect sense to me now, like thinking about this, about static electricity and whatnot, and the reason that lightning exists. Like, it's not a magical thing from the sky.
No, it's not a magical thing or a sky god or anything. I'm just trying to, I don't know, there's one more picture. I just really want you to get that the volcanic god Yahweh is also related to storms because they think the volcano literally is in control, or you could almost say it took over the position of the lightning god.
Right.
Because, hey, man, that god's can do all kind of stuff.
Right.
Our one God is the ultimate. Look what he can do. You thought you did storms. Aha, this guy does volcanoes and storms.
Right.
Of course, they worship him as a fire god also. That's why the Jews burn stuff and the Christians burn candles. It's all about a fire worship of a volcano god. But anyway, so look down to the next picture. Volcanoes are cool.
They are cool.
This is the volcano's ash hitting the sky and then static electricity, as we already talked about, coming back down to it. But it looks like it's setting the whole sky on fire.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
Right.
That's
so
pretty wild stuff.
Is stronger than that, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Well, you can see, once again, like I told you before, instead of saying lightning did all gods, you could see how what I'm showing with evidence to back up my conclusions or speculations. That when you understand this, then it starts to make, because I know people would be like, how does Yahweh the volcano end up with a storm, abilities?
But like when you see lightning coming out of the volcanic ash and whatnot in the sky, it explains it right away, right?
You got, again, that's what I told you before. I want you to understand, so you understand why these gods, not magic, but a lot of people think too, they just randomly threw ideas in. No. They actually were a little more looking at nature than we take credit for
sure. Yeah.
It's just they're magical thinkers, and so when they look at shit, they're like, "Oh God."
Yeah.
Right. So, and then, of course, I said all this to explain how the volcano god, like the Bible God, could also be related to storms, lightning, clouds, and fire. So then the next picture I give you, I showed you before. I'm just going to go real quick. We're not going to read it. But it's about how volcanic, eruption, I believe, in Turkey, 4,500 and, whatever years ago to 4,400 years ago, ended up, I think, creating the Yahweh, not El, but Yahweh.
Right.
And then those people 4,000 years ago were entering Israel and became Canaanites.
Mm-hmm.
So that's very close to you. They would possibly still remember, not maybe seeing it themselves, but their ancestors would have told stories of this.
Right.
Do this.
Yeah.
And Yahweh does seem to be in the Middle East sometime about 4,000 or so years old.
Right.
Because even sense. The Bible starts with El and not Yahweh.
Right.
And even in the Bible, it says that the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob was El Shaddai. And as you remember, it's Israel, right?
Yep.
So it's not Israel Yahweh.
Right. Yeah, that's right.
Right. So yeah. Anyways, and I know you already know this, so I'm going to get off of it. And people I have blogs all about this stuff.
Yeah, and we've done a bit of videos about, like, we did talk about the volcanic god Yahweh or what have you.
Exactly. Yeah, and the Chinese Tan video.
Right.
Sure, we really got it, because I feel like those two those two deities are kind of the similar, not exactly, but also kind of the same time.
Mm-hmm.
These young deities that people think are the ones that were ruling forever. Like, get right. Because the one true God waited thousands of years before it decided that it was going to make itself known. Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
Even that alone sounds like absolute nonsense. Like, how do you go, oh yeah, for sure, Paul, man, that's right on. No. Come on, logic alone would be like, or skepticism, like,
yeah, I don't know about that.
That doesn't sound like that would be no. Anyway, so the next thing is some people believe that because of course, like I said, mainly atheists said this, but people believe, that the lightning deity is somehow, like we said before, the supreme deity, the best, the high, the king of the gods. Well, I put some supreme God, king of the gods, and I don't see all of them with like lightning.
No, that's right. Yeah.
Yahweh doesn't almost even have lightning because he's really more a volcano god. But as we already said, it doesn't mean he's not related to lightning.
Right.
But to be Zeus and Jupiter, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
That's pretty much it.
maybe a storm god, Kumumbra, whatever, is kind of a storm god that could be maybe related to lightning. So maybe 3 out of the ones I put, which are, I'm trying to go from different areas, the top ones.
Right.
Just to show you, once again, if you just knew a little bit about deities, you'd be like, you would not say, well, I'm sure that the lightning god that's almost not there, that's the one that was first.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. So then if you read the
underneath there.
Yeah, go to read under.
It says lightning/storm gods are not always supreme gods/kings of the gods. High gods could be 12 to 11,000 years old, but lightning gods are closer to 5,000 years old. And yet another reason why it is wrong to think that lightning inspired all gods, as some atheists think.
Right. Let's go back to the blog now.
Okay.
Go ahead and read about lightning, where it says the presence of lightning in religion.
Okay, the presence of lightning in religion is an historically existing and currently existing cultural aspect whereby the phenomenon of lightning has been or is viewed as part of a deity or a deity in and of itself, or as a component of a religious practice. One of the most classic portrayals of this is the Greek god Zeus. An ancient story recounts when Zeus was at war against Cronus and the Titans. He released his brothers Hades and Poseidon along with the Cyclops. In turn, the Cyclops gave Zeus the Thunderbolt as a weapon. The Thunderbolt became a popular symbol of Zeus.
Hold on a
continues
second.
To be today.
Wait a minute. Zeus didn't start with a Thunderbolt.
It would appear not.
You broke my atheist heart. Oh my God. Even the thing I thought I knew is not what I knew. Oh, shit.
Yeah, it would appear that even Zeus did not start with a lightning bolt.
Right. So going back to really quick, David. So you now know that, especially about gods, before you make claims about them, I don't know, just go read a little bit of Wikipedia, maybe.
Right.
At least.
Yeah.
Because you would never then be so brave to tell others you believe this clearly nonsense belief.
Right. Just yeah.
So if anyone ever asked you again, Corey, do you think that lightning gods invented religion or came first? What would you say?
I would say no. Yeah, I would have to say no.
You don't even have to be skeptical about it. No. The answer is clearly no. Here's the reasons why.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's yeah. anyone who says that to me is just every time I go, oh, especially I like when they think they're telling me, the expert, knows shit tons about deities, tell me I'm wrong, you're right, with never researching a fucking thing. Oh, wow.
Yeah, people are funny.
And then, of course, do all that and then still say, well, I'm a skeptic or a rationalist. You're neither of those things.
Right. You
those
might
things
not
mean something.
Yeah, that's right. You might not be a non-believer, but please
There
use
you
words
go.
that mean things. Yeah.
Yeah, yes, I agree. You could be a non-believer, but that doesn't equal rationalist or skeptic. No,
Yeah.
those are behaviors.
That's right. That's funny. You want me to continue here?
Oh yeah, definitely. We got lots of good.
So in Slavic mythology, the highest god of the pantheon is Perun, the god of thunder and lightning. A Polish name for lightning is Piorun, derived from the god's name. Perkunas is the common Baltic god of thunder, one of the most important deities in the Baltic pantheon.
But like I told you, Proto-Indo-European Perocanianus, whatever, the top one, the middle of the picture.
Right.
That deity, everything that came after is just relating to that one.
Right.
So not Zeus, by the way. But in fact, even Zeus is called Zeus Percanus or something like that.
Oh, okay.
So it's copying that name, which I don't know, let you know that maybe that's the one.
It might not be that original.
Yeah. Well, because that deity, I think, is closer to 5,000, and maybe at a stretch 6,000, but I don't know.
Okay.
5,000 to 4,000. Can't be 6,000 because 6,000 is just Deus. And Deus is the sun, not anything to do with lightning or
right
sky, but usually it's night skies, blue, sun.
Yeah. So then in a sense, I guess maybe I'm just jumping the gun on this, but like if he so Zeus was derived from Deus. And
yes, from Deus and from Percanus. In a sense,
okay, yeah. So then his second name is kind of derived from the Perkunas or what have you.
Correct. Right, because Zeus probably relates to Deus and then Percanus. So it's saying Deus Percanus in a sense.
Right.
It's saying the first one is the oldest deity, but I'm not totally that. I am
also now this
Percanus, meaning also the lightning. And the lightning god was a later thing that came out. Like I said, it truly may, in a sense, relate kind of to the volcano Yahweh. But also Baal was already there, and Yahweh takes over Baal's position. Okay. So I don't know, or a lot of it. It took some of El's too, but because he ends up marrying El's wife, Ashra. So that's. Yeah, but Court, I think Baal might have done that too, because as you already know from the Bible story of the beginning of Adam and Eve, and then they have two sons, Cain and Abel. How did you get other people exactly?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So someone's having sex with mom. Mom is really a swinger. So that's as far as religion's concerned. Which
good for her. Good for her. That's right.
Only if they're adult, though. To me,
of course,
I absolutely am not okay with people fucking with kids.
Yeah.
No. Fuck no.
Yeah.
It fucking ruins a child's entire life. Every relationship they have from then on will be fucked because of you fucking selfishness.
Yeah, that's right.
Your selfishness, I should say. Anyways. Yeah, you can't stand shit like that. Anyway, so what I'm just trying to say is that a lot of these deities are relating to more than people understand. And so go down to it says Norse mythology.
Okay. Thor. So in Norse mythology, Thor is the god of thunder, and the sound of thunder comes from the chariot he rides across the sky. The lightning comes from his hammer, Mjolnir. In Finnish mythology, Ukko, or old man, is the god of thunder, sky, and weather. The Finnish word for thunder is Ukkonen, derived from the god's name. In India, the Hindu god Indra is considered the god of rains and lightning, and the king of the Devas. In Judaism, a blessing, he who does acts of creation, is to be recited upon sighting lightning. The Talmud refers to the Hebrew word for the sky, shamim, as built from fire and water. Esh Umaim. Since the sky is the source of the inexplicable mixture of fire and water that comes together during rainstorms. This is mentioned in various prayers, Psalm 29, and discussed in writings of Kabbalah. In Christianity, lightning
Right. Let's pause for 1 second. So going back to the volcano we already talked about in lightning, do you see how they have fire and water?
Right. Yeah, for sure. They're combining the two things that they saw at the same time, in a sense.
See? Exactly. I'm just showing you once again how they're just breaking up because they worship fire later. They have burnt offerings all the time, because
Right.
They go, oh yeah, we're traditionally followed it. Who does burnt offerings anymore? Because I don't know. When did God say you didn't need burnt offerings?
Right.
and also, why would older deity want burnt offerings, but later in time, God's like, because of course they also say God never changed his mind. Sounds like he changed his mind on burnt offerings.
How can a God who has multiple books not change his mind?
Yeah, Corey. Yeah, the whole religion in general. You got to think magically. If you put too much logic, you're
gonna lose it. Yeah.
Yeah. Too many questions.
Wait, so Yahweh is also the God of the Muslims and the Jews and the Christians, and they all have different books and different rules and what?
Exactly. Well, just like there is parts of the Bible where Yahweh is called Jah in a sense,
right?
Which is the same way with which gets you to Allah.
Yeah.
But in a sense, just word games, because all it really is the same deity as we're talking about, which was fantasy to begin with.
Yeah. Because it was built on previous myths by other cultures,
and also was built on previous fantasy.
Yeah, that's right.
You can see the magical thinking all over the place. So,
you want me to continue in Christianity? Yes. So in Christianity, lightning is symbolized and attributed to the divinity and power of God. In the Bible, lightning and thunder are used. For example, for the wrath of God, Exodus 9:24-2, Samuel 22:15, Job 37, and Psalm 18. For God's judgment, Zechariah 9:14. For God's revelation to men, Exodus 20:18, Revelation 4:5. For the coming of the Son of Man, Matthew 24:27, Luke 17:24. For the fall of Satan, Luke 10:18, and for the nature of the angels and the risen, Hez 1:14, Daniel 10:6, Matthew 28:3. In the book of Revelation, the lightning is often referred to as the final judgment. In Islam, the Quran states,
and they think that they don't have lightning mythology in their stuff.
Right. It's just all over the fucking book, right?
Well, that's the whole thing is, remember, if you read it with fantasy viewing lenses, then you're biased, lenses in a sense.
Yeah.
Then you just don't see stuff that sounds wrong. You just read everything hopeful that you want to in it. It's like people going, oh yeah, it's a letter of love. I go, it's a bunch of stories that are horrific sometimes about a horrific deity that demands servitude. Fuck, are you kidding me?
Right. Yeah.
Because I don't know, that's what I hear.
Yeah, once you get to that demanding of servitude, that's really the crux there. Like, you're gonna lose me, even if you want all the other stuff to be true, which we can say pretty definitively is not.
Yeah, it's not.
But then you're like, also you have to serve this deity or you get punished forever. I'm not interested in that shit.
Yeah, I'm not interested in a deity that would punish people forever.
Yeah,
especially for non-crimes.
Right.
You're not talking about child rapists or fucking something like that, or
just the act of being free and not serving is enough to get punished forever.
It's absolutely insane.
Yeah.
Anyways, so let's keep going.
In Islam, the Quran states, "He it is who showeth you the lightning, a fear and a hope, and raiseth the heavy clouds. The thunder hymneth his praise, and so do the angels for awe of him. He launcheth the thunderbolts and smiteth him with them whom he will. Quran 13:12-13.
All right. So once again, you can hear the storm, lightning god, Allah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
You're like,
Yeah.
well, maybe it is the same God. Yeah.
It sounds like the same God.
It's the God of myths. So yeah. It could really
Yes.
not matter if they sound same or different.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
All right, keep going.
All right. It says, have you not seen how God makes the clouds move gently, then joins them together, then makes them into a stack, and then you see the rain come out of it? Quran 24:43. The preceding verse, after mentioning clouds and rain, speaks about hail and lightning. And he sends down hail from mountains, clouds in the sky, and he strikes with it whomever he wills and turns it from whomever he wills. In Inca mythology, Ilapa was the god of lightning, thunder, lightning's flash, rain, weather, and war. As a result of his aforementioned powers, Ilapa was considered the third most important god in the Inca pantheon, only surpassed by Wiracocha and Inti. He is represented as an imposing man in brilliant garments of gold and precious stones who lived in the upper world. Likewise, Ilapa carried a waraka, with which he produced storms, and a golden macana, which symbolizes the power and trinity of lightning, thunder, and the flash of lightning. Another representation that the Incas gave to Ilapa was that of a warrior formed by stars in the celestial world. His rites took place in the highest mountains because they believed that Ilapa was used to live in them. Yeah.
So when it says that his thing was up in the celestial world made of stars, we called those constellations.
Right.
Right. And Damien already said that I believe that the older god was from the constellation. I think the first thing was probably tutelar deities that probably related to animals, guarding you.
Right.
And then I think it was now the constellations. And then it was the sun. And which is, sometime, I don't know exactly, but certainly older than 7 and 8. I don't know, but could be close to that 9, or could be close to, I don't know. But then it's not, maybe even 10,000. Not totally sure about when, because there's different spots that I don't know what exactly they're worshiping. But let's just say that it's possible that it's 10,000, because I know Göbekli Tepe has 2 people, like could be deities, maybe, but they're both like beings. But anyway, and it also could be, because back then they didn't have homophobia. It could be a trans person or an intersex person, or just somebody who was, non-binary, feeling
right.
That, because it's, in a sense, it's a man and a woman, I believe, or that version of. But to them, because they're, woke, I guess.
Yeah.
They didn't have it to be that they're both, a penis and vagina in a sense, or whatever.
Right.
Anyway,
okay. Yeah.
With it. But so I do know that it went from that to one thing in like a temple very close to what Göbekli Tepe looks like. So to me, it's like it's worshiping it. And also in, I think it's Korana Tepe maybe, that they have this pit with all these things in it, and then they have one face head coming out. So I have a feeling that that's the sun.
Okay.
So it may be 10, 11, I don't know, but certainly it's before, I think, the earth deity, for sure, I think. Because I feel like the earth deity is either 9,000 or 8,000 years old, closer probably to 8.
Okay.
And so even though later the sun deity and the earth deity are put together, that doesn't mean they started at the same time.
Right.
Yeah. So, but anyways, I do this because I look at actual evidence and try to interpret it and then make a rational conclusion of how they're behaving.
Right.
Not just, I think it's lightning. Why? Because I don't know. Lightning scares shit out of me for.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, I'm just making a point that even though sometimes I speculate, and I'm willing to change, as you know, Corey, I used to think a little bit differently about the origin of gods.
Yeah.
And then I went and did more research in Africa, really is what inspired me. And then also I went into Asia and figured it out, and the Americas more like distinctly of what happened, because I had a loose idea. But loose ideas can go the wrong way, which is what mine did. So I had a loose idea, and I didn't have a lot of deep connections, and it was wrong. And then when I looked at all the connections, then I feel I'm right, because now I'm matching the connections.
Right.
So, it's better than before. It was also more speculative before. I'm not totally sure. I'm still looking into it. I feel a lot more sure now, because I can put evidence and then the thinking and then seeing how they behave and interact.
Right.
Anyways. Hey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Always gotta like a kitty on the screen.
She's having a hard time too.
I bet. Yeah.
Yeah. She used to go outside all the time, and once I sold my jacuzzi, she won't go out there anymore. It makes her feel scared, like something's wrong.
Right. Yeah. Big change in the.
Where I would go all the time for hours, and or not hours, but for all the time, and relax.
Yeah.
Now also I can't do that, which fucking sucks.
Yeah. No kidding.
But anyways, let's go down to the picture.
Okay.
This is also me trying to help people understand why they're wrong.
Yeah.
And then what I feel from the evidence can back up each of these arrows. I understand this a lot. So the picture I show 7,000 years ago, Ukraine, that's Proto-Indo-European, in a sense, melting ideas.
Right.
They're going to by 6,000 start moving out, and so they know they all come from at least a certain point, just so people understand what this is trying to show.
Right.
Because later, everywhere, France, Nordic, Spain, Italy, Greece, India, all over the place, and Iran, all over the place, these ideas go, but we know where they were. Once again, science and also, scholarly work on languages and stuff. So, but this is important. So the arrows, right? So ideas from Siberia, all around 7,000, which is kind of weird.
Right.
About which is why I think also it makes such a unique and powerful thing.
Right. Yeah. That would, because it all kind of, like you say, that it all kind of came at the same time. So then it changed and went out and spread that kind of core group of ideas.
Correct. So at that point, that's why also like a lot of people that know mythology almost feel like most of the stuff in the world relates to that little box.
Right.
But not understanding that actually doesn't mean that's where it came from.
Right. Because it had to.
I always care to talk about.
Yeah. Because it had to come from somewhere first. Yeah.
Well, yeah. Well, some people think it doesn't. And I'm like, okay, you're wrong. Here's why.
Yeah.
Here's why you're wrong. So as you see, one comes from Siberia, right? That's the farthest away in a sense. Yeah. This brought pottery to this area. This also brought warrior cult. It also brought the Kurgan.
Okay.
But as we talked about before, I'm going to say it real fast. People from southeast Turkey went through Iran, through Kazakhstan, up to the Lake Baikal, above Mongolia, area of Siberia. And they had brought dolmens, which ended up going to the Americas by 7,700. It's the oldest dolmen in the thing. And they also went over into France.
Right.
And the oldest dolmen in Brittany, France, is 7,000 something. So, and then of course the oldest dolmens in the Cossack Mountains are 6,000 something, I think.
Right.
But anyway, but this all this, so that the dolmens go out first, and they have the Earth Diver mythology, I believe, and the turtles. Okay, but Siberia does not have turtles, Corey. Ooh, what do? Well, you just take the story after the turtle,
right,
and then finish it with a shortened version in a sense. So before you had to have a whole bunch of animals trying and failing, and then you have finally a turtle, and then the weakest animal actually helps save the whole world and make land.
Right.
By pounding up this dirt, and then the dirt makes it kind of like a mountain or a mound, and then it just grows and becomes the whole earth of land. Anyways, so what they did is just said there was water and then land. Boom. In a sense, that's Kurgan, I believe.
Okay.
Enactment of the mound of creation, which is seen in almost every myth in some way in the 4 different creation stories for Egypt. They
Okay.
still have the Mount of Creation. It matters. That's why they do pyramids. But anyway, so this to me this is the idea. So because I believe the people down in Ukraine and the people in Israel and all in Cossack Mountains probably believed in the turtle mythology, the turtle. So the people from Siberia, when they bring the kurgan, which is a mound, it's about the mound of creation. They are focusing on, I believe, 2 different things. The mound as being the first land, but also they believe the world tree went through, or the Milky Way, goes through this mound, and that's the pole axis, in a sense, the whole universe spins on. And that's also the Milky Way, the world tree, how you get up to the stars in heaven to be an ancestor in heaven. Anyways, but so this is not like separate things that we've already talked about many times before, but I'm just trying to explain how it separates. So it goes out, turtles, comes back, just mound or mound,
okay,
or world tree.
Anyway.
Interesting. So, but that's the one in a sense that goes to Ukraine. That's also why the Proto-Indo-European really doesn't have the exact earth diver myth you would think it would have.
Right.
Because they've been eating on the steppes, I think 11,000 to 10,000 years ago is when they got the myth from Israel, by the way, North Israel.
Okay.
So they had that. But then the Proto-Indo-Europeans, they don't talk about turtles a lot. I mean, India does, but it's influence actually from Siberia coming later.
Okay.
And giving it to them. But anyway, so, or it could be from Iran, but I don't think that's how it happened. But I think it was more from Siberia. Anyways, but so because if it was in that core thing, there would be fucking earth diver myths like all over the place. Since I already said to you, most mythologies would say that it's not that everything is exactly the same, but there is a sort of theme or connection or influence all over because of that one little spot.
Yeah.
So that's why, but I'm saying is that shows that the earth diver cannot be Proto-Indo-European. They have a version, like I said, this is why some people could say they kind of do. Yeah, they had the non-turtle version that I believe comes from Siberia because they didn't have friggin' turtles. Right. So they did what was familiar to them. Well, we do have mountains and mountains.
Yeah. It's it's regionally specific almost, right?
There you go. Regionally specific. See what an excellent way of putting it. Okay. So, because I really want you to understand this. So then the people from Iran, right? But these people from Iran that go up came from Siberia, almost where the other people were 10,000 years ago.
Okay.
With R2. Okay. So this line, this arrow on top from Siberia I should have probably wrote on here what they are, but like I'll tell you. The top arrow is probably R1A.
Okay.
And also Q, maybe 1A, I think. Maybe 1B. I don't know. Anyways, Q for sure.
Okay.
Which is the Siberians. Because remember, 95% of all South Americans and Mesoamericans are Q.
Right.
So anyways, so that's why I told you before, really, when they're like, oh, white people took over and actually, if you're going to talk about who took over, I think Q's influence is ridiculously large.
Right, for sure. Yeah.
Like I said, they are, and it's why also the Cossack Mountains, which you see is very close to this. The Cossack Mountains, which you have Turkey, and then there's a little 2 bodies of water. That thing in the middle is kind of like the Cossack Mountains.
Right.
So anyways, but my point is, so they have extremely hard language, which is kind of like Yinsen, which is over by the beginning of where this arrows left Siberia. Then also Basque is also similar to Cossack Mountains and, of course, Yinsen.
Right.
And they're both all complicated in the sense languages. You can trace the relations. Anyways, and then also I believe, which is some people do too, is the Cossack Mountains relate to Sumerian. Thus Q, which by the way Sumerians had, and not everybody in the region had, that South American DNA. Yeah. Indigenous DNA, probably helped start everything.
Right.
Graham Hancock, right? So Graham Hancock looks for the great white hope, right? The white people that taught everyone. And I'm like, well, if we're going to be exact of who's teaching possibly people, I would say it's the dark people, like the South Americans, because Q absolutely gave the Kurgan to Ukraine. Absolutely, to me, at least. It's just absolutely. I think it's highly likely that they influenced not just Sumerian language, but their cultural concepts, especially because like the building of the ziggurats, I think is just a kind of Kurgan. Same with them ideas going to Egypt, either directly from the Cossack Mountains or by way of Cossack Mountains to Mesopotamia, and then Mesopotamia to Egypt. Got there by 6,000 years ago. They start building madrasas, and those later become pyramids. And they both of those literally are said to relate to the mound of creation.
Right.
That I think came from Siberia, way over by Lake Baikal.
Right.
Not from even so. And like I told you before, to make it even real quick. So it's not that I believe that Israel or the Middle East invented the Earth Diver. I think the Earth Diver starts in Lake Baikal 24,000 years ago. 22,000 years ago, R1B shows up in the Middle East and Israel. That's when I think they got the mountain version and the water version in a sense. And then they're like, oh, cool, but we worship turtles. And so then it becomes turtle, and then turtle beliefs go out of the Middle East. So like when the Americas has the great, Turtle Island and all those turtle beliefs, those are actually, to me, directly related to Israel.
Okay, interesting.
And the Middle East. They didn't come directly from Israel. I think they probably went Israel, and then they went to Turkey, and by way of probably eDNA, and one I don't talk about a lot, but actually Einstein was eDNA.
Okay.
Too, so.
Huh.
Anyway, which actually originates as an African DNA too, which is even funnier. Fuck racism.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, for sure.
Anyway, so the second part of the thing says Proto-Indo-European mythology is dated at least 6,000 years ago in Ukraine. In that little box I made, because it's not actually the other darker green, that's when it was spreading.
But
you see, and I agree with this map pretty close, that I think that the ideas from, I think actually Iran, and then the Cossack Mountains, and then up. And they actually have DNA that does that, R2. Like I said, you can go look it up.
Right.
Anyways, so go ahead and read what it says. Lightning gods are younger gods.
Yes. So it says Proto-Indo-European mythology is dated to at least 6,000 years old in Ukraine, and the lightning god is later than this. It is sometime after 5,000 to 4,000 years ago. Lightning/storm gods are not always supreme gods / king of the gods. High gods could be 12/11,000 years old, but lightning gods are closer to 5,000 years old. And yet another reason why it is wrong to think that lightning inspired all gods, as some atheists think. High gods / sky gods are likely related to star clusters and constellations. Dias, or daylight, also Dias Fater, or Father Daylight, or the Sky Father God, is 6,000 years old at least, associated with the vast diurnal sky and the fertile rains. Dias was often paired with Dagon, the Earth Mother, 8,000 years old at least, in a relationship of union and contrast.
Right, and so we talked about, we're not going to I'm not going to keep explaining about the mother goddess.
Right.
We've already done other videos on that.
Yeah.
But just to show you that once again, the reason I have these estimates and things because I have researched my ass off to figure it out.
Yeah.
It's not just random. Well, I think no. When I say
Exactly.
I think, there's a good reason I think this.
Yeah, that's right. It's not just off the top of your head, but
not even by a long shot. And so the next picture is explaining more of that. How I'm showing this right here and look at what the things they're doing.
Right.
You know, because evidence does, I don't know, change minds.
One would hope anyway.
And also, so the says God men. It says God men is this. So the other ones we don't have language on, but God men we do know, and they said, "Oh yeah, God men that's what God men is. He's Orion."
Ah, yeah.
So even though I can't say that 100% proves they all are, I could go, it's a good hypothesis.
Right. Yeah. You want me to read the Heavenly Shepherd and no?
You can skip that. Go because yeah, this is just evidence to back up why I'm right. But you already know, and if someone wants to know more, they should go look because there's a lot of reasons. Right. But anyways, yeah, because I actually research what I fucking say.
Yeah.
So then the next picture that we've looked at before, we're not going to talk about it long. It just shows that I do think that probably before 11, 12,000, maybe even 13, paganism starts. Although this to me is a shaman with a snake coming out of his head, the Milky Way. He's holding the Milky Way, and then the snake next to him is Milky Way, or this is a snake stick. Right. They're at least 4,000 years old in I think it's Finland, or maybe it's Sweden. I think it's Finland. There was a shaman stick that was a snake that looked real close to this.
Okay.
I'm not saying that's proof exactly that that was happening, but I'm using ethnographic stuff that gives us an idea. They do know it was probably a shaman stick. And right. I'm saying, okay, I can see this here is art from a 12,007-year-old thing. Looks like they're using it maybe for the same thing. Right. And also the fact that the body of the shaman is long and has all these little X's and stuff. I think this is relating to the different segments of the Milky Way. Anyways, but so then you see the where, like I told you before, where the spot is also, I'm not guessing. The purple was not trying to make a circle around those spots, but that's to show that's where cattle was domesticated.
Right.
All those actually occur in that zone. But you see number one, which is the Korkatepe, and has the master of animals and the stuff that relates to whatever. That's in the sheep domestication.
Ah.
So it doesn't start in bulls. And that's why bulls are not a big deal, I think, until a little bit later. Although they're almost 12,000 also, just not there.
Right.
Anyways. So we're not going to read about this. This talks about hunting societies and whatever, not blah, 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 whatever. Is that picture we already looked at, right? About the supreme deities.
Yep.
Right. So this time, though, go ahead and read where it says examples of kings of the god, because maybe Damien doesn't.
Okay. Examples of kings of the gods in different cultures include in the Mesopotamian Anunnaki, Enlil displaces Anu and is in turn replaced by Marduk. In the ancient Egyptian religion, Amun
so
was
pause for 1 second.
Oh, yeah.
So what this shows is 3 different generations of deities.
Right.
Anu is the oldest.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Enlil is a wind, and I guess you can call him lightning god. And then Marduk is lightning god, but Anu is more like just a sky god.
Yeah, and that's just in the Mesopotamian thing.
Right, but it just shows, right? Yeah, this shows that gods are taking over, and also shows that all gods are not the same age.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
Because they evolve because they're lies. But
yeah.
Go ahead and keep reading.
In the ancient Egyptian religion, Amun was the official god of the pharaoh Egypt. In the Canaanite pantheon, Baal or Hadad displaces El. In the Hurrian Hittite pantheon, Tashub or Tarhuns or Arena displaces Kumarbi.
Right, I told you the other ones that were the younger are lightning, but the other one is not more like storms, not really lightning.
Right.
In a sense. Because like I said, lightning deities are younger.
Yeah, for sure. In the Armenian, later Armazd. In Hinduism, the king of the gods is Indra, the god of thunder and lightning and the ruler of heaven. In the ancient Greek system of Olympian gods, Cronus displaces Uranus and Zeus in turn displaces Cronus. And in ancient
wait a
Iranian,
minute. We already talked about that. What did it? Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Zeus is the third deity.
That's right. Yeah.
So, right. So once again, if you knew a little bit of facts on deities, you would go, that's a ridiculous idea to think that lightning gods came first.
Yeah. Yeah, it's clearly like much later, right? Like
it's much later, right? That's what I'm trying to prove to you. It's much later. So to take that as a serious proposition is ludicrous.
Yeah,
it has zero. It's just like saying God is real. It actually has zero support.
Right.
And all of the support is contradictory.
Checkmate, atheists.
Something you got wrong.
Yeah.
But here's where they got wrong. Not got wrong that gods are not true, but got wrong that you can make claims without evidence.
Yeah.
And then think those are rational or skeptical or logical or whatever the hell.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Our last line on this picture was ancient Iranian Ahura Mazda of the Zoroastrians.
Right. And Zoroastrianism did have because of Persia, had a big effect on the religion of the Jews or Hebrews or Israelites, whatever you want to call them, to where the point where it kind of got hell at that point. Because they really didn't. They had Sheol, which is not really hell. In fact, even the Bible talks about how the bones will rot in the ground. Well, then they're not talking about heaven.
Right.
Or hell. Yeah. They're just saying, you're dead, you're gone.
That's it.
So, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Just trying to say it. So I think hell starts in Proto-Indo-European 6 to 5. I don't know. Something
like that.
5, 4. Anyways, it's probably 6 to 4. I'll say that. It's probably easier. Somewhere between 6,000 and 4,000 years ago, hell gets started. I really think that it probably relates to the desire to force control.
Right.
7,000 years ago is when the male clans do a big push to take over in sexism, patriarchy, hate of homosexuality, all this, women are less than, all this fucking toxic male bullshit.
Right.
It starts at 7,000. It's not till 5,000 it's institutionalized. Because from that point on, it's 2 genders only. That's it.
Right.
And that was forced onto everybody. It's not just some bullshit now. That shit's been forced on us for 5,000 fucking years. But here's the good news. It's only 5,000 years. We've been around 300,000 years. So the majority of human experience, we have not had these fucking bigots.
Yeah, that's right. It's funny to think 5,000 years seems like a lot, but we've been around for 300,000 years.
Right. So my point
really.
is because people say, well, that's just the way things are. No, that's the way we've made them.
Yeah.
You don't realize this constructed world of bullshit you live in.
Yep.
It's just like this one guy. I had put something about being socialist anarchist. It's like, first off, he said, those can't go together. And then, because he knows this for no reason, just because he's propagandized, which is totally untrue. But then he's like saying, it's a fantasy and only a fool would want to be an anarchist. I'm like, see, that's where he's so fucking. So you don't like that you have your rights and freedom to yourself and no one can tell you what to do? That's what I demand. So you are an anarchist.
Right.
Yeah. or even if you don't call yourself that, you agree that would be a good position, right? That you own yourself. You have self-sovereignty, freedom, that you can, or that you have an equal say, which is also a great thing, right?
That's right.
You guys talk about democracy and all this. Don't you see how gerrymandered this shit? What they should do is just do, I don't know, it's crazy, I've said it a lot, direct democracy.
Yeah.
We vote for what we do. I would be much more tolerant of a society where at least we all have a say.
Yeah, that's right.
That's still not exactly what I want.
Right, but it's better.
That's way better. Because like I know people fantasize about in America about maybe one day being as good as Canada, which I don't think Canada's great here. But I've actually been to Canada. Dude, I was in Seattle and I went up to Vancouver and I went, oh my God, Seattle's a slum. Holy fuck, it's beautiful here. Compared to where I had just come from.
Right.
So I understand why Americans feel this way because I've seen Canada, and then on top of that, which that alone is almost like an upgrade,
right?
Wow, beautiful compared to the shithole we're from. It's almost like people here give a fuck. I don't know, it's crazy. But then they're like, oh yeah, we also get free medical. I'm like, oh, what?
Yeah, that's right.
You don't live in a slum and you get free medical? Wait a minute, what the fuck is this bullshit? Yeah, but it's crazy. But and it still, of course, to me has problems. But I'm just saying, from the shithole. So that's why I always told you before. I vote not because I believe that the fucking anyone that I could vote for, right? Anybody, no, not even Bernie Sanders. Anybody I could vote for, I'm like totally behind.
Right.
But I certainly be more behind Bernie Sanders than any of those other fucking goddamn capitalist bastards.
Yep, for sure.
Just do not give a fuck. And I love how the Democrats try to like fantasy that they're the good guys. Good guys lets people stay at $7.25 an hour.
Right.
Since 2009 or whatever the fucking hell it was.
Yeah.
Really? That's the good guys? Then I don't think you understand what good is.
Right. Right.
No. Every time they open their mouth, they should be doing that if they were for us. They did none of that. They in fact, some were like, oh, actually the opposite. They go, no, we can't raise it to 15. 15, it should be fucking 35 or something.
Yeah.
15 is, but to not raise it above 7 is criminal to me.
Yeah, that
criminal.
Is for sure.
And in fact, I just today posted a thing that I said, it says at the top, it says gangsters, and it has I'll send it to you just because I think I edited it because it was an old one and it did not have Trump and Biden, and I wanted to put both of their fucking beautiful faces on there. Yeah, because to me, both of them can go fuck off and the bullshit they did. Seriously, and it was crazy. I do think Biden was a little better than Trump, but Biden
he was
a piece of shit. Yeah, he was also a piece of shit. Fucking helping Israel commit fucking genocide. Just going, whatever. More bombs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Fucking amateurs, intermediates, professionals, and masters.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So I posted that because that is exactly what I believe. So it's a goddamn scam. Hierarchy is the load of horseshit we've been sold. And also the load of horseshit that. Just think, you're a capitalist. You believe there has to be inequality in the world forever so that you could have wealth.
Right.
Literally is what that fucking means. So when people tell me I'm crazy because I'm an anti-capitalist, I'm like, so you're cool with forever inequality and poverty so that a few bastards can be billionaires?
Right.
That's really what you fucking stand for?
You're pro-king then, right? Like that's what you're saying. You're like, I want people to rule over me and dominate my life. That's what I want.
I know, but then they're the ones who say they want freedom. And,
exactly. Yeah. Absurd. You can't have that. Like it's not how it works.
Yeah, and to say that being an anarchist is for foolish people. Oh, really? So people that want human rights and equality and dignity for everyone, those people are terrible. To me, it's just I feel like sometimes I argue with people. Sometimes I just block them because I don't have the fucking energy to just correct every dumbass on the internet.
Yeah, that's right. How could you? How could you have that time, right?
Yeah, I just go, ugh. Sometimes I do that with religion too. I try a couple times. I'll say things to them, try to be logical. But if they come back and like deny logic, a lot of times, block.
Yeah, that's fair.
Don't have time for that nonsense. I'm done with that. Anyways, let's go down to the Proto-Indo-European mythology.
Proto-Indo-European mythology is the myths and deities associated with speakers of the Indo-European, including Albanian, Armenian, Balto-Slavic, Celtic, Germanic, Hellenic, Indo-Iranian, Italic, English, French, Portuguese, Russian, Spanish, and Dutch. The Proto-Indo-European pantheon includes a number of securely reconstructed deities, since they are both cognates or linguistic siblings from a common origin, and associate with similar attributes and body of myths, such as Dies Fater, the daylight sky god, his consort, Dagon, the earth mother, his daughter, Hosos, the dawn goddess, his sons, the divine twins, Sehul and Maenot, a solar deity and moon deity, respectively. Some deities, like the weather god Perkunos.
Wait a minute. I thought that the lightning god was first. What the fuck? So 6,000 years ago, they didn't have a lightning god.
Yeah, geez, eh?
Damn it. So it's almost like what Damien said. Damn it.
Yeah. Shit. Can't rely on that anymore. Yeah. Some deities, like the weather god Perkunos or the herding god Puhusun, are only attested in a limited number of traditions, Western, i.e. European, and Greco-Aryan, respectively, and could therefore represent late additions that did not spread through the various Indo-European dialects.
Oh, wait a minute. So I'm right again?
Yeah.
Because Perkunos is the lightning deity, and it says those are later additions.
Yeah.
They're not part of the...
they weren't part of the original stuff. Yeah.
Oh, see? So all those atheists that got butthurt thinking I'm picking on them about the lightning deity, and I just heard what is scholarly stuff on Proto-Indo-European, and they say, not just Damien, they say, yeah, that's not how that shit worked.
Right. Yeah. Some myths are also securely dated to Proto-Indo-European times, since they feature both linguistic and thematic evidence of an inherited motif. A story portraying a mythical figure associated with thunder and slaying a multi-headed serpent to release torrents of water that had previously been pent up, a creation myth involving two brothers, one of whom sacrifices the other in order to create the world, and probably the belief that the other world was guarded by a watchdog and could only be reached by crossing a river. Various schools of thought exist regarding possible interpretations of the reconstructed Proto-Indo-European mythology. One of the earliest attested, and thus one of the most important of all Indo-European mythologies, is Vedic mythology, especially the mythology of the Rig Veda, the oldest of the Vedas. The main mythologies used in comparative reconstruction are Iranian, Baltic, Roman, Norse, Celtic, Greek, Slavic, Hittite, Armenian, and Albanian.
And so Corey would go, so just a few different sources.
Yeah, that's right.
Most
so what, right? So what? It's just a few sources. Fuck it.
Right. And certainly that's right. But it certainly is better than guessing. They're not just looking at one and then coming with the conclusion, right? They're getting all these sources and then they're realizing what they all are sharing.
Yeah.
Like I do, and I explain stuff.
Yeah.
So go ahead and read the next thing.
It says it is a typical atheist movement thinking that fear of lightning created religion and or deities. This is not true of religion or deities as a group, which emerged due to lightning. It seems to have been a later myth after there were already sky deities.
Right, which Corey is now sure of already anyway.
Yeah, that's right. There are some lightning gods, as other gods are called or referred to as Lord. Li Gong in Chinese, Lord of Thunder, or Li Shen is also the god of thunder in Chinese, and the god of thunder in Chinese folk religion or Chinese mythology and Taoism. Hadur or Hodur in Old Hungarian, short for Hadak Ura, meaning warlord or lord of the armies, is Hungarian, was the god of fire, later became a war god in the religion of early Hungarians. In the Hungarian mythology, he was the third son of Arani Atiaxa, or the Golden Father, and Hanjal Aniaxa, Dawn Mother, the main god and goddess. Enlil, also or later known as Elil or Elil, is an ancient Mesopotamian god associated with wind, air, earth, and storms, thus lightning. He is first attested as the chief deity of the Sumerian pantheon, but he was later worshipped by the Akkadians, Babylonians, Assyrians, and Hurrians. Enlil's name comes from ancient Sumerian, meaning Lord, and which has sometimes been interpreted as meaning winds as a weather phenomenon, making Enlil a weather and sky god, Lord Wind, or Lord Storm.
Right. That's what I was trying to explain to you, too. Now you know just when they use that term.
Right.
As a specific thing. Like, see, like when I say that 12,700 to 12,300 or 500 years ago at Korkatepe, that it looks like a kind of master of animals. That is not what they called it. Who the fuck knows, right?
Right.
We're just saying it's a theme, just to help people understand that. So why? Because Lord is young. That's why I'm trying to help explain this. Even though I call those 12,000-year-old ones Lord of Master of Animals or Lord of Animals, that's just what we're calling it.
Right.
They don't use the word Lord, and the word Lord itself is younger, but in English. But what it's meaning, those people were not that. It's way later, like 6,000, not 12,000. So even though if you read something and I have said Master of Lord of, that's a concept that we are now trying to explain mythology we don't understand.
Right. We have to explain these ancient things through the language we have, right?
Right. But what you're reading is they are calling it King of the God, Lord of the God,
right,
or whatever.
Which is a new thing.
There you go. Because hierarchy is not inherent to humans.
Go figure. Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah. Anarchists believe this, and it's also true.
Right. Yeah, that's right. So then we got Baal or Baal was a title or honorific meaning owner or lord in the Northwest Semitic languages, spoken in the Levant during antiquity. From its use among people, it came to be applied to gods. Scholars previously associated.
So 1 second.
Yeah,
I know it was said it real fast.
It was a little fast. Yeah.
What that means is Lord was not even original to Baal, just like lightning wasn't original to Zeus. Oh man, that whole world is crumbling.
Right. Yeah. I find it so interesting, actually, in a sense, because not only do people now like think that Baal is like a demon, like a real demon,
right?
But like, so it was actually a term that was used for people to refer to lords before,
kings and masters,
before it was ever used for gods.
Oh.
It's just a word.
Like it was a forced thing.
Yeah.
This goes back to what I said. That shows to me when religion, in a sense, got taken over by politics.
Right.
Before that, it was maybe it's part of your life, but this became part of politics. And thus that one lord or ruler is not like Trump's trying to do. Just tells you what to believe, tells you what reality is or whatever. So he's in charge of also the religion. Trump wants to be in charge of everything. He's telling the Smithsonian what to put up in their history museum.
So now calling anyone Baal has been evolved into a demon that we all that is opposing the main god, right?
Correct. Right.
It's very interesting. It's very that's a very strange little thing that kind of I never really noticed before. I always kind of was like, well, I mean, Baal must have been a god before as well, right? but
knowing, right. What I'm trying to show you is these it's easy to make claims like, oh, well, God start with lightning until you do some research.
Right.
Not even shit tons. And I know I've done shit tons because I also put the information together in a way that's easier to understand than I actually get it.
Yeah.
But because that's been, like you said before, like a project. I want to make religion transparent. I want to, in a sense, remove the rationale of faith. You cannot read my stuff, I feel, and then have strong faith. How is that fucking possible?
Yeah, that's right. It doesn't seem like one could unless they're just reading it, but then like staying in denial the whole time.
Yeah,
that would have to be the only trick.
But I'm saying if you just acknowledge what's being presented, you realize, oh shit, I believe lies. But anyways, also, like I said, Lord is important to me. We're going to talk about some other stuff about this, but Lord is important because it means masters and husbands.
Right.
See, this is an owner.
Right.
You as an anarchist, I find all that shit just barf.
Yeah. Where am I here? From its use among people, it became applied to gods. Scholars previously associated the theonym with solar cults and with a variety of unrelated patron deities, but inscriptions have shown that the name Baal was particularly associated with the storm and fertility god Hadad and his local manifestations in the Northwest Semitic languages: Ugaritic, Phoenician, Hebrew, Amorite, and Aramaic. The word Baal signified owner and by extension lord, a master, or husband. Baal was also used.
Pause for 1 second.
Yep.
Just look at how fucking patriarchy that is.
Right, yeah, husband.
Lord and master also is what does the word for husband.
Husband just gets thrown in there now.
Yeah, you're an owner.
Yeah.
A master. I'm just saying.
The way that language gets turned, right, or like changed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to show how these fucked up concepts that I'm showing you really help explain now. How did we get this crap now?
Right.
Well,
right.
Once you start studying history closer, you go, oh, that's how.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Baal was also used as a proper name by the 3rd millennium BCE, or 5,000 to 4,000 years ago, when he appears in a list of deities at Abu Salabik. Most modern scholarship asserts that this Baal, usually distinguished as the Lord Ha-Baal, was identical with the storm and fertility god Hadad. It also appears in the form of Baal Hadu.
Right. So once again, these deities are often stealing each other's ideas and then calling different names, just like Yahweh stole a whole bunch of stuff and called it himself.
Right.
Yeah, they're fucking stories.
Yeah. It's almost like people were telling each other about their religions, and they're like, "Oh yeah, my God can do that too."
Yeah, exactly. Oh yeah, that's great. Yeah, mine's that. Yeah.
Yeah, I like a God that can shoot fire out of the sky. That's cool.
Corey's got religion down now, and it wasn't invented by lightning. It was invented by people that wanted to be cool and saw other people's deities as cool. And they're like, well, wait a minute, mine does that shit too.
That's right.
Mine's the Lord.
Yeah. Mine's the Lord. And he's very angry and he shoots fire out of the sky.
And do you see it says Baal's also used for, in the sense, Yahweh?
Right. Yeah. So it says scholars propose that as the cult of Hadad increased in importance, his true name came to be seen as too holy for any but the high priest to speak aloud, and the alias Lord, Baal, was used instead, as Bel was used for Marduk among the Babylonians and Adonai for Yahweh among the Israelites. A minority proposed that Baal was a native Canaanite deity whose cult was identified with or absorbed aspects of Adad's. Regardless of their original relationship, by the 1st millennium BCE, the two were distinct. Hadad was worshipped by Armenians, and Baal by the Phoenicians and other Canaanites.
Right, and that's about 3,000 years ago.
Right. Yeah, the 1st millennium BCE.
That's right.
Baal is well attested in surviving inscriptions and was popular in the theophoric names throughout the Levant, but he is usually mentioned along with other gods, his own field of action being seldom defined. Nonetheless, Ugaritic records show him as a weather god with particular power over lightning, wind, rain, and fertility.
All right, let's skip because I don't want to get too lost in this stuff. Let's skip
Yep.
down to where it says, so what and when was the rise of the word idea of Lord?
Okay. Lord is an appellation for a person or deity who has authority, control, or power over others, acting as a master, chief, or ruler. NC, from the Sumerian, Lord of the Plowland, Emisal dialect, Akkadian, Isakum. It was a Sumerian title designating the ruler or prince of a city-state. Originally, it may have designated an independent ruler, but in later periods, the title presupposed subordinates to a Lugal. For the early
Right, and
dynastic,
I know you probably don't remember, but when we talked about Mesopotamia, we absolutely talked about all this stuff also.
Right.
We
Yeah,
explained how all that.
That's a couple of years ago now, but
It's a couple of years ago.
But we did talk about this stuff.
Right, and so this is important for anarchists because this relates to masters. We say no gods, no masters. These are the fucking masters, and when it happened.
Right. Yeah, that's right. That the ancient Sumerian, Mesopotamia, ancient Sumerian stuff. That was the rise of the state, right?
Yes. It says city states. They started with just a city, but it was a city state in a sense, and then that idea goes over to Egypt, and Egypt decides, well, why don't we take all the cities and make it one state?
One state.
And so, and then eDNA leaves there 5,000 years ago, goes to, in a sense, Lebanon, Syria, Israel, Jordan area, and becomes, in a sense, the Amorites, who then are Semitic speaking, and then they go down into and took over and became Babylon. So, which is actually considered the first dynasty. So, actually, like I think, when I say that the birth of the state is Egypt, and I don't say Mesopotamia, it's because what we think of a state is multiple cities. And that idea starts in Egypt and then is transported back to Mesopotamia, and then they copy that shit.
Right.
But I also had the same DNA that just left Egypt. So they didn't just have like the control style, they literally had the same DNA.
Right.
eDNA shoots back up. And then eDNA is the majority of the DNA that takes over the Sumerians.
Right. Jeez.
What a shocker. But anyways, because I care about DNA, because that's how you know things for sure.
Right.
But anyways, so I think though, but remember, the Egypt got it first from Samaria, but then what they sent back was the more fucked up version.
Right.
Right. Kind of like how I think Biden was bad and Trump is a nightmare, you know?
Right. Yeah.
They're both bad. But
yeah, that's right. Well, one can be much worse.
At least with city states, you had other cities you could go to. And so that in a sense, the ruler would have to try to keep you there. Thus, he gave out free food.
Right.
Or whatever. You know, of course, he taxed people to get that. So it's not really his.
Yeah.
He took it by war, so he stole it. Anyway, my point though is at least there was other things you could go to, and then that king would have more people, and and be more powerful in a sense. So there's more competition, you know. But Egypt is like, yeah, that competition shit, that's for the birds. We need empires. So to me, in a sense, the king starts at a city-state, and the state starts in Mesopotamia. But empire, in a sense, how we think, or a real state, starts in Egypt.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry to ramble off about that, but just because I want to show all this is like related. It's not; these are not
for sure
separate things.
Let's see. We're right here for the early dynastic period around 2800 to 2350 BCE, or 4800 to 4350 years ago. The meaning of the titles N, NC, and Lugal cannot be differentiated clearly. See Lugal, NC, and N for details. NC may have originally been a designation of the ruler restricted to the cities Lagash and Umma. The NC was considered a representative of the city-state's patron deity. In later periods, an Ensi was normally seen as subordinate to a Lugal. Nevertheless, even the powerful rulers of the second dynasty of Lagash, 2100 BCE, or 4,100 years ago, such as Gudea, were satisfied with the title Ensi. During the third dynasty of around 2100 to 2000 BCE, or 4100 to 4000 years ago, Ensi referred to the provincial governors of the kingdom. These exercised great powers in terms of government, tax revenue, and jurisdiction. But
right. So you see how it changed. Before, it's like the top ruler.
Yeah.
And then it just becomes a part of the hierarchy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where Trump is at the top and all of his cronies that are doing shit are below that all have power and we have no say. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Or you could even think of it Elon Musk.
Right.
Top of the thing and then all of his little henchmen below him.
Yeah. Yeah. But they were supervised, installed, and dismissed by the Lugal of the city Ur. Although the office could be inherited, all Ensi had to be endorsed by the Lugal. No independent foreign policy or warfare was allowed. In the city-state of Assur, the hereditary ruler bore the Akkadian language version of the title Ensi, while the patron deity was regarded as Sorum, king. They held most political power in Sumerian city-states during the Uruk period, 4100 to 2900 BCE. Lugal is the Sumerian term for the king or ruler. Literally, the term means big man. It was one of several Sumerian titles that a ruler of a city-state could bear alongside an Ensi, the exact difference being a subject of debate. The sign eventually became the predominant logograph for king in general. There are different theories regarding the meaning of the title Lugal in the 3rd millennium Sumer. Some scholars believe
3rd millennium BCE.
BCE.
I didn't catch that. But so yeah, that means basically 5,000 years ago.
Right. Some scholars believe that a ruler of an individual city-state was usually called Ensi, and a ruler who headed a confederacy or larger dominion composed of several cities, perhaps even the whole of Sumer, was a Lugal. The functions of such a Lugal would include certain ceremonial and cultic activities, arbitration in border disputes, military defense against external enemies, and once the Lugal has died, the eldest son must take over. The Ensis of Lagash would sometimes
which we would just call a king.
Right, yeah. This is just hereditary rulership, right?
Like, yeah, this is just bullshit as hell. We don't even know this shit today.
Yeah. Referred to the city's patron deity, Ningirsu, as their Lugal or master. All of the above is connected to the possibly priestly or sacral character of the titles Ensi and especially En. The latter term continuing is designated priests in subsequent times.
Right, and just like I told you before, too, hierarchy, if you go look it up on Wikipedia, or its meaning, it originally was a religious connotation about priestly orders and their hierarchy.
Right.
It's a religious word. That's also going back to, like I said, when people say that I never do politics. Yes, I do. I'm explaining how religion took over and how your political ideas are religious.
I find it very strange that anybody would ever say that you don't do politics.
Yeah.
Have you actually listened?
Well, I think because they think I talk too much about religion and stuff.
Well, but okay.
Like what I'm saying, like your show is like dedicated to anarchism.
Explicitly politics, yeah.
Right, and mine is sort of everything, but I see the bigger picture where this is your ideas of politics are a form of religion that got removed from this sacredness, but is still all the same shit that they had when that's what they thought.
Right, you're still using like the same structure that came from early stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, you thinking it's different is really the problem.
Yeah, that's right. That's funny.
Or let's just say it's not historically factual.
Right. Yeah. I mean, we spend a non-zero amount of time talking about even modern politics, the way that it's playing out. Like, we don't just not talk about
Well,
it.
but I think it's also because then they can say I don't matter.
I
Just like you
guess.
try to do with your show, it doesn't matter. Of course it matters. You do great stuff. I think we do awesome shit. Who fucking says some of the shit that I say?
Yeah.
Fucking no one.
Yeah, that's right.
So how the hell could it not be good? Especially, I am a leftist, a socialist, an anarchist, and I talk about it all the time. And I try to show, look at history, look at how that's, what we anarchists believe is actual truth.
Right. Yeah.
The capitalists saying this is human nature is propaganda. Hierarchy being human nature, propaganda.
Yeah.
Sexism and patriarchy being human nature, propaganda. Hating homosexuals and trans people, that's a lie that used to be totally accepted. In fact, venerated as sacred. What the fuck? You don't even know what the hell you're talking about.
Yeah, that's right.
Anyways.
No, it's
so that's
pretty
why
wild.
I think that what we've done, even if I never did another video, I think what we've done is fucking astounding, life-changing. You list all this stuff because we are, to me, going piece by piece and removing the ability to be ignorant.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, yeah, like it's using ancient history to show, like, I mean, maybe the details, we go through a lot of like the deep details that maybe not everybody's going to grab onto, but like if you look at the overall arc of the project, it shows how, like you say, like humans started over in this space where they treated each other well, and they cared about their community, and they built this stuff together. And as things evolved, including states and religions, it became like this, like, hierarchical domination built system that doesn't follow our real nature.
Right. And we shouldn't favor it or think that we have to keep it. It's fake.
Yeah, that's right.
So we don't have to keep it. It's not necessary for our well-being. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
In fact, it's
sure.
harmful, and it always has been. To me,
Right.
the real problem has always been hierarchy and inequality. Those two things devastate humanity.
Yeah. Yeah, and like we've shown, I think it comes from like these things that happened throughout history and the way that these belief systems spread.
Don't you feel stronger about your historical foundations of anarchism and socialism than you ever did before?
Absolutely. I've read, I've read a decent amount of theory at this point, but I have my modern theories of anarchism, but this gives it like a history of humanity foundation upon which to build that modern theory, right? Like
absolutely. I totally agree. That's why I said that I hope you do write a book and put my ideas and the stuff you've learned together, because you've done something I haven't done. I haven't done lots of reading into the propaganda for anarchism and socialism. I've done some, very little.
Right.
Because I read it and I go, well, I already fucking think this way.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So it's not like arrogant thinking it's not important. It is important. But I am very big thinker, as you see. You don't think I didn't think about politics too? All the thinking I do in religion that I hate, you don't think I also didn't think about how I should do morality in my life? Like, come on. Get real.
Yeah.
Anyways, so go ahead and read. It says Uruk period, because this is where I think 6,000 years ago is the oldest possibility of this leadership bullshit.
Okay, the Uruk period, 4,000 to 30,100 BCE, or 6,000 to 5,100 years ago, also known as the Proto-Literate period, existed from the Proto-Historic Chalcolithic to Early Bronze Age period in the history of Mesopotamia, after the Ubaid period and before the Jedmet Nasser period. Named after the Sumerian city of Uruk, this period saw the emergence of urban life in Mesopotamia and the Sumerian civilization. King priests are likely 6,000 years old, but at least 3,800 to 3,300 BCE, or 5,800 to 5,300 years ago. N is the Sumerian cuneiform for Lord, lady, or priest or priestess. Originally, it seems to have been used as a designate for a high priest or priestess of a Sumerian city-state's patron deity. A position.
Oh, so like I said, that concept is when they say, well, it's religion is adding something. It was a religion.
Right.
You removed the religion and kept the word and
That's
the
right.
whole concept of leader and master.
Yeah. Yeah.
You have it backwards.
Right. That's right. You took the religion out of the hierarchy, but kept the hierarchy.
Yes, you did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I think it's not too bad when people put like a dollar sign on top, like for capitalism in the sense.
Right.
They just took fantasy God and put fantasy wealth.
Yep. Yeah, they took the cross off or what have you, or religious symbol, and they put the dollar sign. That makes sense to me.
Yeah. Because in a sense that they like you said, the whole hierarchy didn't change. That's why people are like, oh, well, Damien, you can't say the Egyptian stuff or Mesopotamian relates to now. Have you seen the picture I showed before where it shows how the whole hierarchical system was already there 5,000 years ago?
Right.
And feudalism copies it, and then capitalism copies that. So in a sense, they're just all hierarchies.
Yeah.
Like, no, this is 5,000 years old.
Yeah, for sure.
But not all of human history. So yeah, going back to anarchism.
Still, yeah.
True.
That's right. Yeah, like you say, like it's 5,000 years old, so it's not brand new.
Yeah, not brand new.
But it is
brand new. It is old.
But it's like it's still not the core of what humanity is.
No. But it does go back to, like I said, they think that civilization started 5,000 years ago with empires.
Right.
Which they, remember we read Civilization, they think has to involve inequality, and that slavery was a common practice in all early civilizations.
Yeah.
I'm like, so I guess I'm against civilization because I fucking hate slavery and the whole concept of masters or lords or any of that shit. So what the fuck?
Yeah. I guess if you're going to use that definition of civilization.
Well, yeah. I mean, civilized to me should be that you don't let anyone suffer. I mean, that would be, to me, or you
that's a lot more civilized,
yeah. Picked on or allowed to go without harm.
Yep.
That sounds civilized, you know, going into other people's country and murdering them and stealing their land and then stealing their resources and enslaving them. That is the bullshit that I hate. What are you kidding me?
Yeah.
That's like, I'm proud to be American. How?
Right.
How does that happen?
It's a very strange position to hold. So.
It's a totally ahistorical one.
Yeah, for sure.
Anyways, let's keep reading.
Yeah, so a position that entailed political power as well. It may also have been the original title of the ruler of Uruk. See Lugal, Ensi, and En for more details. Deities, including En as part of their name, include Enlil, Enki, Engurun, and Enzu. Enheduanna, that's Akkadian, 2285 to 2250 BCE, or 4,285 to 4,250 years ago. Enheduanna was the first known holder of the title En, here meaning priestess.
Right, so it's not super old. Not all human history.
Not all of human, yeah.
You're like, well, the facts say that's bullshit.
Yeah. Relatively recently, but
right. But like I said too, I want to educate also anarchists and socialists so they can fight back. So when people say bullshit like, well, actually, you need to understand you're not living in reality. I'm like, actually, you need to understand you're not living in reality.
Right. Yeah.
This constructed hierarchy non-reality shit is not really reality.
Yeah, that's right.
And we can point to history and prove that.
Yeah. Ooh, tummy's grumbling. Enmerkar, 2750 BCE or 4,750 years ago, was an ancient Sumerian ruler to whom the construction of the city of Uruk and a 420-year reign was attributed. According to literary sources, he led various campaigns against the land of Arata. The tradition of Enmerkar was the founder of Uruk seems to date from the Jedmet Nasser period, 3100 to 2900 BCE, or 5100 to 4900 years ago, as found in the ADGI4 list. The lexical list mentions Enmerkar and his wife Enmerkar Z as the builders of a town and the bringers of agriculture. Some scholars have looked for this historical matter in the literature, deeds of Enmerkar and the land of Arata. For example, an archaic tablet from Uruk recording the title Lord of Arata was given as a reason to believe the traditions surrounding Enmerkar's deeds were based in reality. Moreover, there are suggestions that Enmerkar and his administration may be factually attributed as the first person or people to put cuneiform to clay tablets, and that writing did indeed exist before Enmerkar, citing the fact that the Lord of Arata understood the message, but those writings were previously done in different materials.
Right. So even that, in a sense, wasn't the first.
Right.
But still, but we already knew that it's about probably 6,000 and under. So everything. Right. So, and actually, like I told you, I don't know to what extent the steppe had at 7,000 with the first Kurgan, which also came from Siberia, and probably that same idea of king or high chieftain, probably.
Right.
High chieftain then goes to Siberia, then it goes down to those areas, the Cossack Mountains, like the Samaria, and then Egypt. All those have kings. And the ideas came down 6,000 years ago, and then 6,000 years ago, all of them get kings. But they may not have had a pharaoh type of, because that's more empire. But, since kings were kings of city-states kind of thing, one little area, not like empire.
Right. Yeah.
So anyways, go ahead and read the next thing, and then we'll be done. Just read the next paragraph.
Scroll down past the list, I guess.
Just that's fine.
Polytheistic peoples from many cultures have postulated a thunder deity, the creator or personification of the forces of thunder and lightning. A lightning god does not have a typical depiction and will vary based on the culture. In Indo-European cultures, the thunder god is frequently depicted as male and known as the chief or king of gods. For example, Indra in Hinduism, Zeus in Greek mythology, Zodz in Albanian mythology, and Perun in ancient Slavic religion.
Yep. So there's more stuff in the blog. People can go and read and stuff. But I think this is a good, place to put it. Plus, like I said, too, is, I always want to put in that this also relates to me to not only, in a sense, attacking a fake atheist belief, but also to show how gods are fake anyways, and all
right,
and didn't come whole cloth the way you see them now.
Yeah.
Or and the whole concept of kings also, as anarchists know, is not inherent to.
Yeah. And also did not come whole cloth as we see it now. Yeah, no kidding.
Right. And so, like I said, my thing is I really want to debunk religion. I see how toxic it is in ways that I feel, I guess, other anarchists and socialists don't grasp.
Yeah.
It is a lot more involved in every problem we have than you think.
Right.
It tells us to hate gays, to hate women, not every religion, but I mean, as a whole, it tells us to, favor hierarchy, to even favor capitalism.
Yeah.
Because matches the whole hierarchy of it, and this whole thought that somehow some people should get tons and we should have nothing. What the fuck? I mean, it's absolutely fucking ridiculous. Or, like I said, why is it that some people, even in anarchists, have tons of followers, but me and you don't? They would produce absolutely great shit.
I don't know.
Like I at the end of the day, I think yesterday it was. I went and looked because I saw on my video thing, whatever, that I don't follow him or even watch anything he does, just so people know. Vosh.
Oh, yeah.
he did a new thing, and he had a couple minutes, right? He had been on or something. He has like fucking thousands of fucking people. I went and looked, and he's just like scrolling a thing, not even talking, just fucking scrolling. I'm like, compared to what we do, that shit is garbage.
Yeah,
I'm not even talking about his ideas, just what he's presenting. How is that?
It's very low effort, and also he's not a good thinker. So it's like very strange to me.
But then why would people like him and say not like us? If you like him, how could you not like something better? I guess our stuff is too intelligent.
I don't know. I don't know what the deal is. I do know that he has some followers who are basically white supremacists who consider themselves on the left because they're all worried about like black nationalism, or like they're really threatened by like land back movements and stuff, and they're like really concerned that they're going to be kicked off of their. I don't know. Like they're in the fact that they call themselves socialists, I guess. Like, it's very.
That's like we had that one video with that guy, and he's like, "Yeah, I don't believe that people should have pornography." I'm like, "What the fuck?" Or the other day, someone I know, I'm not going to say who it is, but someone I know more personally, said to me, "You know, this one kid was talking about being a dog. Don't you think? I mean, I understand a kid, but there's adults that do this." I'm like, "Yeah," because they're mentally ill. We should lock them up. I'm like,
what the fuck are you talking about?
Whoa! What? You thought I would agree with any of that shit? Holy shit! No.
If you're saying, well, I kind of feel awkward or weird about grown people calling themselves dogs or what have you for whatever reason you have, okay, sure, yeah, you can feel uncomfortable. But like the minute you start saying, "Oh, they're mentally ill and we should lock them up," like, there's so many things that you just did wrong there.
Right? Because I'm like, wait a minute, mentally ill people should not be locked up.
Right.
I'm not for that. In fact, I'm mentally ill. How are you to lock me up?
Come on.
And mine's from abuse. Don't you realize that some mental illness has nothing to do with their being? And also, if they're born with it, how also are you faulting them? Yeah. So mine was forced onto me. Other people are born with it. But how is either of that like a threat? What the? Oh, I was like, oh my, how could someone say that? That's why I know. I think some people don't really get both of us, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Right? Because if they understood the quality, they would never say something so fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
And think we would go, well, yeah, they're mentally ill. Fuck, let's just shoot them. You know what I mean? I'm totally anti that. I'm just saying,
right.
Like, something also ridiculous that who would even think that Damien, after knowing anything about me, would be like, yeah, totally for that.
Right.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
No.
Like, even if you didn't, you only knew the very basics about your personality. Like, you wouldn't even start saying things like we should lock anybody up or we should like, like what are you talking about?
And I told
my God.
Let me be simple. If everyone has a mental illness, you do realize they don't always commit crimes.
Yeah.
So are we punishing people just for who they are or crime? What? Oh, I was like, it just blows my mind. That's even a possibility.
Right.
Wow. That's even in your ballpark. Like, whoa.
Yeah. Whoa. So yeah, very, very wild idea.
And then and I said to the person, okay, just trying to get your perspective and show it to you, which is actually a counseling called mirroring.
Right.
When you let them look at what they just fucking said. So you're saying that when people have non-harmful beliefs, they should be put in prison. What the fuck?
Yeah. What the fuck?
Or even non-harmful behaviors. Because well, what if they walk around like a dog? I go like, strange.
Weird. Yeah.
That's would I say anything? No, because people have a right to do strange things.
That's right.
Certainly would not say lock them up. Like what? So I'm like, so you get that there's no harm, right?
Like, so fucking what?
I'm like, Okay, so my ethics is you don't fuck with people that don't commit harm.
Yeah.
What the fuck? No, I don't. I told you, to me, violence should be for self-defense, meaning someone is actually attacking me. And other defense, someone is trying to attack someone else, especially someone vulnerable.
Yeah.
Hell yes, you should use. And that is the point that if that ends up being murder, I'm okay with it.
Right.
But once, to me, I told you my feeling. Once you subdue that person, I do not believe, because I think they own themselves, you are allowed to harm them.
Right. Once they're no longer in a position to cause harm.
Correct.
Why are you then doing more harm to them?
And also, why is going to counseling a threat or something?
Right.
You know, like, so if people have mental illness, you mean that they shouldn't admit that they're weak and go to counseling, right? Because, I mean, like Donald Trump, you just look through the counseling registry and fucking jail.
Right.
Know, right?
Yeah.
What kind of does that sound like a happy world or a fucking fascist one?
Yeah. Not good.
It blows. Like I said, the fact that someone can even tell it to me and think that I would in any way agree with that, and just go, man.
They must be new. Like they don't know you very well.
Actually, no. Sadly, Corey, they've known me for, I don't know, 10, 20 years or something.
That's so wild.
And I just go, I can't be me that's doing something wrong.
It's got to be
sure people grasp my thinking.
It's got to be one of those situations like my dad, right? Like he'll say fucking absurd shit to me sometimes, thinking that I'm going to agree with him because he's my dad. And like, but he doesn't actually know me anymore. He hasn't known me very well in a long time. So, he hasn't listened to what I say. He doesn't listen to what I believe. But so then he just thinks I agree with him on everything. So it's got to be a situation similar to that, right? Like they don't really pay attention, but they're like, I know Damien. I've known Damien a long time. Of course he'll agree with me.
Of course he would say people that are mentally ill should go to jail.
What?
And also, let's put it this way: jail for what? Life? Because that's, I mean, I'm sorry, if they're mentally ill is how they got to jail. Most people don't actually like. I don't. They're not going to opt being mentally ill. I mean, I do agree that I am good at managing myself through counseling. 20 years,
right,
or around there. So I am constantly trying to work at being better, but I still have it. So should I go to jail? I mean, it's just
it's not like it's cured by going to jail.
Right. Exactly. So you obviously mean jail for life, which is even worse to me. What the fuck?
That's insane.
That's even worse. You know,
what the fuck are you actually talking about?
But I also think it reminds me of society's negative view of people with mental illness.
That's true.
We go, oh, well, they're mentally ill. Well, that means they must be murderers. Like what?
Right. They must be a danger for sure, right? Yeah.
Well, that's they used the term in a way that, like you probably fucking sirens went off. You know, you use mentally ill and like it's bad, like it's murder or something.
Right. Yeah.
You didn't use it in a way that means that people are struggling and you support them.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Like it should be. It's because it's just, think of it. So mentally ill, even if by their definition, is someone who's broken, right? Or whatever. So someone who's disabled as a sense of broken body on the outside. Do you feel it is acceptable to walk up to disabled people and tell them they need to go to jail?
Right. Yeah, that's right. Sick people should go to jail.
But that just reminds me of how I'm a rationalist and I like to think about what I believe.
Yeah.
And other people obviously don't.
Yeah, no, and I think that's true. I think that generally people are very inconsistent and do not think deeply about their beliefs or values or the way that they think. They just go through life and just take things as they are as much as they can and like say nonsense.
Yeah, because I think even by the second show with me, you already started to get who I was.
I think so.
Right. Certainly within the first year, right?
Yeah, for sure. Like, to think that somebody knows you for 20 years and still doesn't know.
It's still that clueless. You're just like, that's kind of scary.
That's
Wow.
nearly
But like I said,
yeah, it's almost an impressive level of ignorance, actually.
it truly is. Well, and also the person was shocked that I challenged them.
Oh, really?
It's also interesting to me. I'm not going to go like, oh yeah, cool. And then, but they did later come talk to me again, and it's like, well, I want to apologize, for how it sounded. And I'm like, yeah, it sounded like it sounded. Mine just fucked up. I wasn't hearing you wrong.
I don't want to apologize.
Right.
I don't want to apologize for the content of what I said. I want to apologize for how it sounded.
Yeah. Well, because I think they realized how I framed it, what they said sounded pretty fucked up.
Yeah, well,
and they're like,
it was, right?
Well, it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no...
Because it's a fucked up thing to say.
It is a fucked up thing to say. And I was like, especially, you do know I have mental illness, right? So does my wife. We're supposed to both go to prison for doing nothing wrong? Like, the fuck?
That's right. For being like caring people who do their best to make the world a good place. Yeah, let's throw those people in jail.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Unfortunately, that is
how it's going. Yeah.
Well, and I was also thinking, I wonder how much influence it's the Trump and MAGA bullshit. Because they're normalizing absolute fascism as normal and in fact good.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
Helpful or something like that. Ooh.
Yeah.
It's seriously, and so because I do think that a lot of people aren't really great thinkers, and so they hear people say certain things and are like, oh yeah, of course. It makes me uncomfortable to see someone look like a dog. So yeah. I'm a master, aren't I? I get to tell the people how to rule their fucking lives. Like, oh.
Yeah. Very strange stuff.
But so I want everyone to know that I really, appreciate your stuff too. Not just my, religious political stuff, but your political stuff, especially because you're an anarchist and a socialist or communist. That's my kind of thinking anyway. So
yeah. And I find myself, like, I have an upcoming interview with a columnist, Osita Winevu, and he is not an anarchist or a communist, but he is a person who thinks about what he's saying and wants to make life better for people in America. And he's written a book about this, the way that he thinks things should go. And we may see the world in different ways, but this is something that I think I'm getting more and more in tune with, is just like, if you see the world differently than me, but we're still on the same page when making the life better for people, then we have a lot of common ground and we can work with that. Right.
Right. Well, because I think, even though you don't usually use the word, I think you have mutualist tendencies like me.
Right.
Mutualists believe that there is no waiting for a revolution.
Right.
That you build the system right in the husk of the old fucking system. You start doing it now. Means also you help now, which of course I know you agree with.
Yeah.
But also that is how we do it. It's not there's going to be one day some revolution. Right. Revolution is our behavior now that inspires others, and then we just en masse start becoming more enlightened and make a difference. And also it's the belief that it is not bad to be, in a sense, ratcheting closer to our goals.
Right.
Like some communists, I think more authoritarian, believe it's all or nothing.
Right.
I think it's total dog shit unless it's exactly what the fuck I believe. As an anarchist in general, though, you already know, I believe other people have a right to have ideas that aren't mine.
Yeah, that's right. I think Margaret Killjoy, when I had her on my show, said it pretty well, is like, you can put your gun to a person's head and tell them you are a communist now, but you cannot put a gun to someone's head and say you are an anarchist now.
True.
So to me, that's kind of that. I mean, I know that maybe we might disagree about the specifics of communism in that regard, but like that's like the thing between like your authoritarian.
Well, you mean
leftists.
Marxist-Leninists, so people who
that's right. That's
are
right.
unaware. I am
right.
fine. I don't believe I am totally a anarchist communist, but I'm certainly more fine with that than capitalism or Marxist-Leninism.
Right, right.
Because I am in the ballpark
of.
I score in the ballpark of a socialist anarchist, which can be also collectivist and kind of, anarcho-communist also.
Right.
But I think I saw like 98 on anarcho-communist. So
right.
Pretty
close. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, pretty close.
So I know it's also, like I say, is that I don't like when people just explain the word communism and then they're really not talking about all communism. They're really just talking about state communism.
Yeah, I find myself torn on this issue, right? Because I'm like, I want everybody to understand the actual thing that I mean. But then when I talk about it and I use the word communism, they don't know what I mean. So then I have to spend all this context and time going, well, okay, so this is what this means, and this is what this means. It makes every conversation about it so long and drawn out.
True, but I just wanted to bring up the point that I know you're not talking about that,
right?
And I want
to
understand because
maybe that's why. Maybe that's why people don't like maybe that's why less people watch my stuff, is because I always have these extra layers of like, well, actually, this is what this means. Well, actually, I can't say that's all this. And
well, as a rationalist, I love that stuff, but I guess it's a personality trait too.
Yeah.
You and me like stuff that's in depth and accurate.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying you're being inaccurate.
Right.
As we already talked about before to Damien, since a capitalist society is moneyless, classless, stateless, how did you get stateless in communism?
Yeah. Yeah, it's an interesting dynamic the way that.
So they at the limit what the Marxist-Leninists should say is we're pre-communist.
Right.
That would be more accurate. I would have less issue. Okay, you're pre-communist.
Yeah.
But I just don't believe that your way will get to communism, anyways.
Yeah, that's right.
And obviously, evidence has never shown that you guys want less leaders, less hierarchy. No, I've seen a lot of consolidation of hierarchy.
Yeah, that's right. And
the
centralization of power.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Yeah. And then put in the hands of like a single leader, like a fucking king or an NC or a legal, or whatever you want to call it.
That's right. Yep.
But go ahead and tell people what you're doing or whatever, and then we'll end it.
Yeah, I do interviews over on the Skeptical Leftist on YouTube, and we do current events, news stuff on every second Tuesday. We do a live stream, and it's I call it Loose Wires. That's the kind of the project that is, and then I've been streaming a lot more on Twitch. Just some casual stuff. You can be pretty casual over on Twitch, so you can kind of just listen to podcasts and talk about them. And I do have an idea coming up here. I'm going to be going through kind of like the semi-modern history of the media and the far right. There's a couple podcast series and docu-series that we're going to be listening to and watching all over on my Twitch. That's twitch.tv/skeptical-leftist. So if you want to keep up with that stuff, I might turn it into podcast episodes myself, but sometimes when you use like other people's material, that stuff gets kind of sticky. So you got to be careful,
which I think is ridiculous. But
yeah, that's right. I think that a lot of these things, if you're spreading good ideas, like should be, Creative Commons as they were.
I agree.
But
anyways, people should go and check you out and go support you on Patreon and give your stuff likes.
I appreciate that.
Yep. And I hope that you guys liked the video and learning about lighting deities and how they're young and not what started religion or God.
Not what started religion at all. All right.
All right. Take care.
Hello, and welcome to my channel. I am Damien Marie AtHope. In the simplest terms, I am an atheist-humanist philosopher and prehistorical writer-researcher at DamienMarieAtHope.com. I am specifically an axiological atheist. An axiological atheism can be thought to involve ethical and value theory reasoned and moral argument driven apatheism, agnosticism, atheism, anti-theism, anti-religionism, secularism, and humanism. Axiological atheists can be understood as a value theory or a value science atheist. As an axiological atheism's ethically reasoned and constructive pro-humanity. I am an axiological thinker, value theorist. The science of goodness, worthiness, usefulness, valuableness, virtue, reliableness, accuracy, validity, morality, integrity, beneficialness, etc., etc. We axiologists have a value consciousness. And in general, we see the architecture of humanistic humanitarianism value in people that we see as dignity beings. Places and things are not. Axiology is a value theory. In its broadest sense, it involves areas of philosophy that are deemed to encompass some evaluative or evaluation aspect. Therefore, it crosses almost all domains in some way or another. Now for a more detailed terms as to what I am. I am an axiological atheist, an anti-theist, an anti-religionist, secularist, humanist, rationalist, writer, artist, poet, philosopher, advocate, activist with schooling in psychology, sociology, as well as I am an autodidact, self-taught in science, archaeology, anthropology, and philosophy. I promote science and am against pseudoscience, pseudohistory, pseudomorality, things that are found in religion.